So the idea was, since one of the central things about the brainwave biofeedback app, Flameinmind.com, is the discovery that golden ratio between the brainwave frequencies is a breakthrough indicator of peak experience, bliss kinds of things, really climax, ananda, bliss sort of moments. I was going to start this, and I'm just going to do like a 10-minute intro, 15 minutes, and then give it back to Patrick on history of brainwave science. We can get that out of the way. So this part of the presentation, introducing Flameinmind.com, is just a compelling suggestion that golden ratio in brainwaves has actually been known for a while. We just didn't realize it, and it's indeed powerful. That's the point. So this story starts somewhere about here. My earlier invention, the bliss tuner, which is here, is where we documented this. This is when we first found out the frequencies are on the vertical axis here, and the frequency distance there between the alpha and beta corresponds to a certain ratio. So this is where I developed this technology. Here we're doing a second-order power spectrum to measure brain coherence, the first time in history that internal brain coherence had ever been measured. And here we used a ball and stick kind of measure to measure the moment in your brainwaves when you had golden ratio and bliss. And here you'll see another example. This is, I think this is our friend in Australia. Look at that alpha. It's dramatic. Alpha is between 7 and 13 hertz in green there. And when there's symmetry right-left, that's when you have brainwave balance. You can see the power relationship, where they're on the same frequency, and also right-left brain power. So if there's a dominance of right-left hemisphere, you'll see it right there. And the beta in purple, when it gets the golden ratio, the computer tells you, because the purple ball sits on the purple stick. And remember, alpha is like the meditative kind of thing. Beta is active thought in purple, and down below the theta and delta, the theta in yellow, is more access to the deep unconscious. So this is where it was first sort of documented that golden ratio was powerful in brainwaves when Professor Korotkov, Kudai's good friend too, known for many years, was in the World Without Blindness project famously that indeed Callie in the next room spent years working on the World Without Blindness project, right, Paul? And so the point was that the ability to teach children to see without their eyes in front of a jury, that all these children could see without their eyes, they proved it. And so Korotkov's job was to measure the brain waves and to measure physiologically what correlated to the ability to see without your eyes. And what he found was the primary indicator was when the brain wave alpha to beta, it's actually alpha to beta, was golden mean ratio. And when the cross-hemispheric EEG was phase coherent, and when the size of the aura increased in the sense of the GDV, as Kudai does. So, and the children were taught to visualize themselves in nature. Their body would flip a switch, and they would become phase coherent. So this is from the actual scientific article. These are the bioelectrographic correlates of altered states of consciousness. This is important. This is the discussion of what is an altered state measured psychophysiologically. Remember, my graduate work at university is psychophysiology, so this was ringing my bells, you know. How does psychophysiology talk about bliss? This is the first real paper on the subject that said something. And number one on top was that the fractal fluctuations, the frequency ratio in the spectrum of the EEG was centered right around golden mean ratio. That's the fun stuff. And of course, the disappearance of bilateral asymmetry, you know, there's symmetry right left hemisphere, harmonization, increase in intensity and coherence and fractality of the GDV. So basically, these are the fractality and golden ratio indicate ability to see without your eyes, plasma projector. Also notice here on the right, another primal example, the famous mind mirror, which for years people used, that displayed the brainwave harmonics like this. And indeed, the picture in the mind mirror literature displaying right-left hemisphere brainwave harmonics, bottom right here, showed in fact that their alpha to beta was golden ratio in their picture of what the brainwaves should be for a creative spiritual state. They just didn't happen to measure the ratio and notice that it's golden mean. But in their own picture, it was golden mean ratio. So there's multiple indications that that golden mean ratio between brainwave frequencies was powerful. So here we explain the caduceus, non-destructive charge collapse, and you see, and this is the picture of the caduceus in the heart, and then the brain waves. The meaning of the caduceus, oh, we're not going to, so not, we don't go here. Yeah, so just one of the things, so the other thing that was measured is, in the 32-channel brainwave coherence, and I don't have the other picture in front of me, that the place of the coherence was on the top of the head. And in another slide with a 32-channel EEG spectrum analyzer, the golden ratio coherence, the harmonics that were in golden ratio were maximized at the top of the head. Literally the flame in the mind. It's measurable. I have that. That slide's really fun. So this is another picture from the mind mirror work. I worked with those people, Cade in Boulder, Colorado for many years. Here we're demonstrating that we get octaves in the brainwave frequencies here, 10 and 20 hertz, in a channel, a telepath. We didn't get golden ratio. We got golden ratio for bliss, but the channel, the telepath, we got octaves. And that was replicated. There's a lot of meaning here. So there's something very interesting about this golden ratio in EEG, and this is what motorized. So the mind bliss tuner invention was fabulous, except it was a pain in the ass. It was difficult to put on. You had to play with jelly and all kinds of stuff. It was ridiculously expensive.
Windows.
It was Windows, thank you very much. Yeah, so the thing was a problem. You know, $3,000 to $5,000, and then you got work to put it on. Now, it's easier than putting on sunglasses, right? And it's wireless to your iPhone. So that's really the intro I wanted to do. I promised it would be short, and it is short. Yes. So that means you're on, Patrick. But I strongly suggest we simply try it together.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
begin like this.
okay, if that's okay with you. Yes?
Yes, sure.
So they actually see that it goes.